Hello, good day. I have a couple thoughts on manifestation. This isn't anything that you haven't heard somewhere else, but it's on my mind today. I'm thinking about it a lot. And I'm thinking about the concept of detachment, but also like a sound bath. A sound bath with singing bowls washes over your body. Those frequencies, those bowls are designed and calibrated to correlate with energy centers in the body. The resonance of each bowl correlates with different chakras, and that frequency of those sound bowls can penetrate, through your whole body, basically. Like, I feel if I'm having a sound bath or playing a meditation from YouTube with Tibetan singing bowls or whatever it may be, which I do on occasion to soothe myself, it's like they call it sound bath because it's like being immersed in that frequency. And my point about manifestation is that when you think about something that you want, a lot of people fail to alchemize the desire of not having something and trying to have something, wanting something. They fail to alchemize the desire into the emotion of already having it. So what I like to do, how I think about it, is what would my life look, smell, feel, sound like? Top to bottom, even the details. The more detailed you can get about your manifestation, the better. Not to say that if it doesn't happen this way, I don't want it, right? Because you always have to leave the door open to give the universe and all the forces that conspire outside of our free will the liberty to deliver what it is that you want in the form that it can come to you, right? Because think about 9 degrees of separation, think about interconnectedness. Nothing happens free from connection to the things that it's attached to. If it's people, if it's circumstances, it's all interconnected all the time. That means that when something starts to manifest in your life that you've been asking for and wanting, and that's right, if you subconsciously manifested it by focusing on it and drawing it towards you with the vibration that you've been emanating, or if you've been putting it out there on purpose and trying to actively manifest and create something for yourself in your life, it may show up in a way that's not like, say you want a job, it's not maybe like the phone rings and somebody offers you a job. There's a lot more subtlety involved with how things like typically manifest. I've manifested a lot of things very, very specifically in my life, like on a day-to-day basis. Like just give me the perfect parking spot. I expect it. I feel the sense of relief, right? Because say I'm arriving at somewhere and I know that parking is typically tricky in a certain area, and I would potentially be running late if I weren't to get the right parking spot, blah, blah, blah. That's a stressful, lower vibrational state. I'll take that and I'll sound bath, immerse myself in the feeling of having pulled in, see somebody, reverse and leave right away in the perfect spot, and then pulling in. So anticipating having to park, I'll acknowledge like that I'm stressed, that I'm thinking about it. I'll chuck that out of my vibration as like crisply as possible. That's the hardest thing to do, right? And when you let go of energy, or you have to replace it with something. So then I'll pull in like the feeling in my body, like, right? Like I'll be more relaxed. I'm not like tense. I'm not like sitting up on my car looking for spots. I'm just sitting back. And then I'll wait for it to emerge, right? That's like a day-to-day manifestation, how I engineer my life, make things run smoothly. But also then we've got longer things that take time to manifest because they're bigger dreams, they're bigger goals, or they pull on, in terms of twisties, they have deeper roots with deeper things. So in order to move that energy, right? Because when you send out something, you're moving energy in the universe. It's not saying, no, you can't have that. It's saying like, okay, let us rearrange to yield that reality to you. And we can be really blind to the signs that things are shifting and changing in our favor, because sometimes the path along the shifting and rearranging, like perhaps, for example, you don't know that what you want it really co-harmonize with this other part of your life. You really want this, but you refuse to let go of something. And maybe when the threads of that twisty, right, one strand starts to get pulled on and it's trying to shift you out of a certain mode that's kept you locked or stuck or locked in a vibration that's not the same vibration as the thing that you want, that will start to kind of come loose, and that can be agitating or like jarring, right? It could be experienced in your life as something going wrong, or crossed wires, or miscommunications, or sudden changes No, I'm not saying like the bad stuff is meant to be like, right, spiritual bypassing and stuff like that. But I'm saying like it's only going to add more pain to your life if you judge the experiences that you have. And that's why cultivating a sense of faith in like the process is the best thing. And of course, bad things can happen to good people. Challenging things can happen even when you have the best of intentions. I'm always a believer, right? If somebody does something awful to you, the vengeance isn't yours. Like, to be biblical about it, I guess, the vengeance is always like God's. The vengeance is the universe's, right? If you want to think about it scientifically, every action has an equal opposite reaction. Like, somebody can't just dump a bunch of shit on you and not have it spring back. It will. That's another level of faith, because if something bad happens, the more you play into that, if it's like, I want to get revenge, you know, even like subconsciously, not that people are out to be vengeful on a day-to-day basis, but like something doesn't sit right with you, you want to correct it. Yes, there's a degree of truth and necessity in that, because when you don't honor your inner truth, you're like violating yourself energetically. That's why people's throat chakras tend to be closed up, or heart chakras. If you don't speak about how you feel, you don't do yourself a disservice. But in terms of like proving someone wrong or showing somebody something or getting back at people, that's just still stirring the pot of soup that the whole encounter started on, right? And that soup is made of low frequency. You don't want that soup anyway. That's why you're not happy right now, right? So the best thing to do is trust and have faith that the universe will take care of it. It's outside of your control anyway, in terms of if you wanted to get back at somebody, if you wanted somebody to feel the way that they made you feel, you can't control how anybody else feels. But that's a side note on like karma and deliverance, I guess. I personally think that as soon as we can give ourselves grace, give other people grace, assume the best in people, have compassion, understand that other people in our lives, even if we don't agree with what they're doing, right? Maybe if we had been delivered the same exact set of experiences, trials and tribulations, and whatever else in life as they had, we would make the same decision too, because they don't know any better, right? But they're doing their best. And that's where everybody's, you know, personal healing and journeys and wounding and traumas and triggers comes in. And again, hearkening back to a point I made the other evening about how triggers, right? Triggers in cultural dialect around psychology, it's like more of the intense stuff, like I'm triggered, like PTSD level. But triggers, I mean, they can be really, really subtle. We can be really aware, painfully aware of some, so that we need to have self-soothing coping mechanisms or something to deal with it when we become triggered. Or we could not know that it's happening. So TLDR, practice sound bathing yourself in an emotional state. And that too, if you have the time and space and energy and time and will, you can do it as like a meditation. So like I do that a lot when I'm driving, because my life involves a lot of time in the car. And when you're driving, life is coming at you fast, right? Literally. You're moving through space faster. And it's a good time, because of that, to kind of imagine things moving towards you. You're moving into the next moment at a quicker rate than we typically move through our day when you're walking around your house, or, you know, going from place to place on foot. So there's that reason. But also, you know, say I wasn't in my car, I was at home, I was thinking about certain things that I hope to achieve in the next 10 years, next 5 years, when I'm falling asleep at night, or trying to. I have a hard time sleeping. I would feel the sense of like relief and peace, because I mean, typically all of the things that I'm trying to manifest are about bringing myself more peace. And I mean, everything we want in life is something that we want because we think it's going to make something better. For me, I'm looking for peace and stability. Those are like my top goals in life: peace, stability, and enjoyment, right? Because life is about joy and enjoying the journey. So I would also, after kind of like locking my body in, like you can even do a body scan. How would it feel like from my feet to the top of my head? How would each part of my body feel in that experience? Even if it's like you want a new house and you're imagining yourself sitting on the new couch, you can imagine the feet elevated, right? How soft it is, whatever. And then I would go into like, what am I hearing? Do I want to be like in Italy eating something, hearing a cacophony of Italian chitter chatter, sun on my skin, or whatever it may be? Do I want to hear waves? Do I want to hear a really, really fast like sports car on the highway, whatever it is that you're after? And then bringing it into the visual and closing your eyes and like really like seeing it. What is it like to look into that person's eyes, or look at the set of keys in your hand, or look at, read the email of acceptance, or you got the grant, whatever it is. And then after you do that, you don't sit around being like, okay, well, like, why isn't it here? You let the process of immersing yourself in that be enough, because when it's not enough because you don't actually have it, then you're reiterating the loop of energy, the frequency that you're in, that is the reason why you don't have it already. So if you get disappointed with that process and go back to a space of feeling like this isn't working, like I still want this thing, then that's the vibration then that you put out. So it's about inhabiting the sensory ability to conjure the idea, the feelings, the emotions, and then doing that for fun, basically, taking it seriously. Like, I spend time visualizing and planning, and it's not like some daydream vision board thing. Like, it's very productive for me. I try to be in the moment a lot. I think a lot of us spend our lives always planning ahead. They say, right, that depression is when you're stuck in the past and have regrets, and anxiety is when you're too in the future. I've definitely suffered from both. And the best way to live, no matter what, is just focus on what's in your control here and now. And I mean, for me, that results in writing a ton of lists, so that when I rely on the fact that if I'm not focusing on something right now, but I'm not going to forget about it, right? So the faith is, I know that when the time comes, I'll be able to handle it and I won't forget about it. If I forget about it, it's meant to be, maybe I learn a lesson to be more or whatever, or it wasn't, meant to be in my forefront. And I have like an allegiance, an alliance with the universe and the forces that I work with who guide me on a day-to-day basis to, please help me to be clear, to have clarity mentally, to be sharp and have good memory and recall, basically a prayer for that would be, an affirmation for that would be, everything that needs my attention arises at the perfect time. Everything I'm meant to focus on is always presented to me. That type of thing. And you free yourself up in the present moment. You allow yourself not to worry about how it's going to turn out, whatever it may be, the thing that's distracting you. Because we are very distracted. Not only are we distracted, but we have rewired our brains to be like quick twitch, ADHD overload, because of, you can't even watch a video without commercials popping up and you have to click next or skip ad or whatever. It's a lot, right? The way that TV is, and music and the radio, and it's hardly a thing where you go into a space or a public space or this, that, where there's not music playing. Very, very overstimulating world. Very, very easy to get distracted because that's the external world. We all have very, very deep and complicated inner worlds too. New York Times just put out an advertisement and they have hacked the system. I thought it was very clever. What they did is they had no music in the advertisement at all, which means that people are not likely to realize that an advertisement has commenced when it starts playing. They're less likely to then go to their phone or device and click skip ad. The ad is therefore more likely to play to completion till the video or the program resumes, and whatever metrics are used for like person watched ad whole way through, right? The AI or whatever is responding to that. It's just a good tactic, honestly, for them, because everybody's got jingles, right? The Overstock one has been stuck in my head since Christmas time, and I regret. I wish that it wasn't. It goes, hello world, it's time to do some shopping. Let's all get comfy. Very catchy, super annoying. Okay, that's it. Those are my thoughts on manifestation. And the detachment part, that's hard for everybody because the timelines, this is what I say. What you want is up to you. How, when, where, that's not up to you. And we don't get that. Or we do, but we don't know how to let that be. And there's this type of like divine timing, this type of patience that needs to occur with divine timing that's almost intolerable for humans. Number one, because of the things I just mentioned with the world delivering and catering more and more and more to instant gratification, but also because it's faith-based and we like to believe in what we can see. And if that's where you want to live your life, if you're going to believe in what you can see, then you're waiting to see evidence of something before you can believe in it. Obviously I'm a person of faith. What faith? I don't know. It's just, I think I'm a hybrid of somebody who relies on what I've seen. I've seen all of the things that I preach active and repeated and over and over and over again in the world. And when one of my belief systems starts to fracture or break, I let it fall away and figure out why it no longer complies with my experience of reality. Maybe I don't let it fall away. Maybe I watch it splinter and then the addendum arises, right? Like, this is true when this happens too. Caveats, nuances. That's what I believe would lead to a smoother world, is that if people were given the permission, given the words and the teachings on, like, you have a very unique way of navigating this world. We all look the same, bustling down this sidewalk, driving in our cars, but at the end of the day, no one sees what you see. No one's been through what you've been through. Nobody's meant to do what you're meant to do. And that's not really like, what career path is perfect? Take this quiz. No, it's like, everybody's got callings, things that they like. It doesn't have to be like totally super unique. You can like gardening, and that can be like your thing. It doesn't have to be what you get paid for, but there is something that is just for you in life. And that goes along with how you see the world. I'm a big proponent of people pursuing the things that bring them joy. And we have a lot of reasons why, a lot of excuses that we provide ourselves and others, and societally acceptable ones, that type of thing. Like, I'm thinking about working moms and, right, you can't have it all, family and work, whatever. A lot of excuses that people tell themselves that I believe should be phasing out right now in the collective. They no longer serve us. How interesting is it that so many things that no longer serve us as a group of people, whoever that is, right? As a group of friends, as a group of family members, from the point of conception, like, this isn't working. To the point of weaning something out of society. I'm thinking about all the social justice and change and stuff that came to light during the pandemic and the lockdown and all of that. How long does it take for people to realize that something's wrong and not working to when it actually gets phased out of society? It's the same concept as manifestation. There's a buffer, because a lot of things have to rearrange in order to change a more deeply rooted held belief, or actual circumstance. So with that, I'm gonna keep on driving in silence. I hope that was helpful. There's nothing not to like about daydreaming and manifestation, because sometimes I was, 9 years ago, I was trying to manifest things that I actually don't want today. I didn't know that. I was trying to manifest them really, really hard and never gave up. And what they did is they just, my life changed in the meantime. It's not like I was like, I'm going to sit in the forest and wait for it to get here. Obviously, I've been doing all sorts of things, and those desires just evolved over time to match my current projection of interest. So it's also like, if anybody were to say, I'm not sure, like, if that's what I want, like, I don't want to manifest it because I can't see it clearly, like what it is that I desire and blah, blah, blah. It's like, just then keep it simple. Don't get granular with the details and all of the sounds and the pasta and the sunshine in Italy. You don't have to do that. You can just keep it as simple as, I want a change. I want a change. Like, maybe you're not happy and you don't know why. You can still do the exercise without form, because you have the ability to trick your brain into thinking that something is happening just by sound bathing a different emotion over your body. And sometimes we've been so deeply immersed in a certain vibration or emotion that we don't even realize it. So if you're not happy and you don't know why and you'd like to be, I would still like recommend doing that practice in terms of just sitting there and experiencing like, well, I always have this pain in my neck and I just don't want it to be there. You know, even if it's still there while you're doing this, you sit there and you imagine what it would be like to not have it and how that would affect the rest of your body and what you would want to be, you know, looking at and hearing and feeling and doing. And that in itself will start to change the energy around what you're conjuring. Going back to, again, the imagery of a flashlight, the bulb is the present moment. The shine, the flash, the projection of light shooting out from that bulb, that's the current set of circumstances that you're manifesting at any given moment. So the longer you can sustain that bulb of high vibration, if the bulb is aligned, the idea, the way you feel in the present moment, if you have a horrible day and all days out of the week except for one, you're like really feeling good and good about yourself, yeah, the projection from the flashlight bulb, it will have wavered during that one day. It doesn't mean that you're completely off track, right? It just means that when you were going through that, something was rearranging and the flashlight projection oscillated for whatever reason, right? To clear out, I don't even know. Sometimes I don't like speaking in these terms, but like to clear out karma. And that can be on a simple, subtle level too, right? If you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and then you're like expecting the worst and cursing at people in traffic and blah, 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 you're not going to get like the best experiences delivered onto you because like attracts like. And the other angry people who woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day are going to be the ones that you end up running into. And then you're like, why does this always happen to me? And it's like, well, no, you're just with that group today, but you know, tomorrow maybe it'll be better. You'll have a better night's sleep, and that won't be what the flashlight is shining on. So it's not like it's 100%. You do it and it's good. It is in the sense that it's like a restaurant. So if you place an order, if you want to manifest something, then you kind of have faith that it's coming. Good meals take more time, etc., etc. But, lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm just saying, like, everybody has bad days. Nobody's path in life is just better and better and better and better and better, right? The path, a graphic comes to mind, and I will drop it into the video at this point. It's just talking about the, you know, what... I'll drop it in, and then I'll end the video that way. I'll drop it in. It's about what the path, I actually have two that come to mind. I don't know where they are or where I saw them, but I will find them and I will put them in the video. It's about things being different than we think they're going to be. The path of healing, the path of life, and it's kind of an expectations versus reality graphic where it's like what I thought it would be like and what it is, and it's like completely all over zigzag, but still going up and up, right? It is fully 120% a person's choice if they keep experiencing the same bad stuff over and over and over and over again. Now that's controversial in the sense of like, well, if somebody's being abused over and over and over again, like that's not their choice, right? If they're a victim, and like particularly like children, it's very, very complicated. I'm just saying like the things that are within our control, it's hard. It's almost like more effort sometimes to keep experiencing the bad thing than it is to grow out of it, because we're designed as humans to want to expand and change and grow and evolve. Some of that happens biologically, right? When triggers set in terms of our biology of like men want to spread their seed and women would like to conceive. And it's not even like mentally, like if a woman doesn't want children and never has, her body will still probably give a little baby fever to her because the body is aware that that's what it's, you know, designed to do. So we're designed to kind of want that evolution and progression because that's what life is about, changing and expanding. So at a certain point, sometimes people have a very hard pill to swallow, blah, 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 like pretend it's a partner who's ultimately not the right match for you, but there's love there and there's history there. Your life will start to show you more and more and more overtly that that's not the right match. And it's almost more effort to stay and try to prove that it is than it is to accept, right? It's still challenging to make that separation, especially if there's children and possessions and whatever, you know, attached to that situation. But energetically, that's why those things feel freeing, because we were fighting the pull of the disharmony in terms of two vibrations or frequencies that are not matched. If you keep trying to play two different radio stations at the same time, it's never going to sound good until they're tuned to the same channel. It's just not. It's not going to sound good. Okay, with that, I take my leave and I bid you all very well adieu.